What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as you come in and we discuss this topic. And I want to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? So Running Back Podcast, they had a discussion about the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they were saying that the Minnesota Timberwolves need a point guard, which I agree. I thought that Mike Conley he was like a serviceable point guard for a couple years, but Mike Conley is kind of old. I like Mike Conley because he's a veteran and he is somebody who's reliable. But as far as I just think he's too old now, right? And so, in order for Minnesota, in my opinion, to go to be make it to the playoffs, or if they want to make it further in the playoffs, they're going to need a point guard, like a good point guard. And so a few names have been tossed out. Uh, you got John Morant is out there. You have Trae Young, and also you have what's this kid name right here? I keep LaMelo Ball. His name is out there. And so, like I said, they was discussing this on the Running Back podcast. And I'm right now, I don't see anybody that's perfect for the job. But in my opinion, I think that Trae Young probably would be better than these other two guys. Better than John Morant and better than LaMelo Ball for that point guard position. But what I'm gonna do is first I'm going to play what they said on the Running Back podcast, and then I'm gonna give my input. But so let's hear what everybody on this panel had to say about Minnesota and what they need to be successful, and go to the playoffs or maybe even further.
What was going on, Lou? So are we seeing something with the Timberwolves that they're starting to get this thing back on track?
I like where they are. I like where they are playing really, really good basketball. Here's my only problem, and I hate to say it. They got to get stronger at the point guard spot. Man, like I know Conley is coming off the bench, and I know they're still trying to figure out what Dillingham is. Is he a scoring guard? Is he an undersized two? Can he be the facilitator at the one? I know they're starting to figure it out. I don't love Julius Randle being the guy that's facilitating and being their assist leader right now. I don't love that. I like the ball. I know at the four spot he brings that ball down in transition and he can make plays for everybody. But naturally, I want to see somebody that can set them up in the half court and get them going. DiVincenzo to me is another scoring guard. That's somebody that's going to be able to score the basketball. But when you talk about somebody that's setting the table and allowing these guys to be in that natural position that scores, like Julius Randle naturally is a scorer. DiVincenzo is naturally a scorer. I would just like to see them go get somebody who can set the table for everybody else and get them going. Other than that, I like this group.
All right, so that was Lou Williams, right? And I agree with him. DiVincenzo not a point guard, definitely not Julius Randle. And then you have Ant-Man, right? And so these guys need a pure point guard. And like I said, if you bring in John Morant is more so of a score first guard. So he's like DiVincenzo, but he's probably more athletic and more dynamic of a scorer than DiVincenzo, right? So I don't think he's going to fit with Anthony Edwards. He's not going to fit with Anthony Edwards and DiVincenzo and all those guys and Julius Randle. He's not, because he has a score first mentality. He he's not going to set the table. He's not going to be somebody that gets like everybody involved or get people the ball like in their spots. Ja Morant, I don't think would fit there. That like if you bring in Ja Morant, that'll be like what Milwaukee did with bringing in Dame Lillard, right? Dame Lillard couldn't do the same things for Milwaukee that Drew Holiday did, and so that's the kind of guard that they need. Is like a Drew Holiday, somebody who can score when when the team needs it, when the opportunity presents itself. But other than that, he's just running your offense. He getting Ant-Man involved. He's getting Julius Randle involved, DiVincenzo to a certain extent. Like he's just setting the table, like Lou just said. So what about LaMelo Ball, right? Again, LaMelo Ball, in my opinion, is not the kind of guard that's going to come down and set the table. He'll give a decent pass like on a fast break, but I can just imagine like the looks he is going to get from Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, and he shoot a step back three with like 15 seconds on the shot clock. Like that's not, and with Julius Randle out there, that's not gonna fly, and those wild passes that he give, that's not gonna fly. So let's look at this kid right here, like Trae Young. Now, Trae Young, he is a scorer and he like to score. But Trae Young, I've seen him before, even in the playoffs, when they played against the Knicks, and he was able to get the guys around him involved, and he know how to set the table. So Trae Young is the one I think is the closest to being able to play and have his game adapt to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Actually Trae Young assists has gone up over the years, right? He was all shoot first, but his coach asked him, to get everybody else involved and improve his assists. And his turnover, he don't turn the ball over a whole lot. So Trae Young, I think, is probably the best guard for Minnesota that, in my opinion, that's out there. So, but let me get back to the rest of the panel and hear what they have to say about, who's out there and what they think will be a good fit.
I like how they're playing. I like how all the stars, everybody that they're expecting to show up, are showing up and doing their part for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think they're going to be a sleeper team that's going to give a lot of teams issues when it comes to the second half of the season, but they definitely got to show up what they're going to have and get a solidified young point guard that can set the table for all of these guys.
Who?
That's a great question. Who is a great question? I don't know who's really out there, but they do have to get younger at that spot. They do have to get more consistency at that spot for sure.
There's three.
Boogie's got an answer. Look at Boogie's face.
He's been hearing a lot.
Look at Boogie's face.
Talk about it.
I agree with Lou, man. It's the point guard spot for me, and I think it's a little bit deeper than that as well. But I start with the point guard. Obviously, that's a glaring issue with them. You want to put a good guard next to Ant. You don't want this type of pressure on him. He ended the game with, I believe, 7 turnovers. That's obviously not where he's comfortable or his natural position. Not saying he can't make plays in certain spots throughout the game, but for that to be his role throughout the game, I just don't see him being, great in that role. But I also feel like it's time to start tweaking the rest of their starting lineup. I'm not really happy with the Rudy Gobert addition to the team. I don't feel like – I feel like he puts a cap on this team to continue to grow outside of missing that point guard. So I think that's also a situation that I would like to see change. I think about guys like Anthony Davis instead of a Gobert on that team next to Anthony Edwards.
No, I disagree. Like Rudy Gobert, I think because Rudy Gobert is a role player, in my opinion, right? Number one, Anthony Davis stay hurt. So why would you bring Anthony Davis in, right? Number two, Rudy Gobert, all you want him to do is play defense and rebound. Focus on that. Julius Randle is going to score. Anthony Edwards is going to score. If you get a point guard that can just keep these guys, like keep setting that table and keep that defense, that offense on the attack. And I think it's Trae Young, and Trae Young is somebody who can shoot, can score, but also can set that table. Like I don't think Rudy Gobert, as long as he he can defend. I'm no way in the world at this point I would bring in Anthony Davis, man. I'm not even sure if for Dallas he's not even helping Dallas.
I think that changes the trajectory of their season.
Who makes that deal, though? Who make that deal?
Say that again?
Ain't nobody going to make that deal, though.
We've seen crazy deals.
I don't know, but we've seen crazy.
Maybe they'll do it.
We never thought Luka would be traded, and it happened.
He could have gone, but maybe somebody else will do something crazy.
So I don't know. I want to see more from this team. I do think it's time to tweak it just a tad bit. But the Wolves' main issue is they have to get a point guard next to Anthony Edwards.
That's their only
Yeah,
problem.
and it's listen, we've been hearing Trae Young, we've been hearing John Morant, we've been hearing LaMelo Ball. So those are all three young kind of star level names that I think could mesh well, where you got your number one clear-cut option, Anthony Edwards. There's no one taking that away. And what I don't want to see is Minnesota, what they've been doing now, kind of making him play out of position. We've seen, Phoenix do that with Devin Booker. We're seeing Dallas do it with Cooper Flag. Yes, can Anthony Edwards handle it? Can he control an offense? Can he be a setup guy, make plays? But he's one of the most explosive, shot-creating, athletic, scoring guards in the NBA. I do not want to see him moved to the point guard position to kind of get these other guys in play. Now, a name like Anthony Davis is interesting because this team does have assets that if I'm a GM on another team, I want Jaden McDaniels, I want Naz Reid, I want there's some.
You don't even have to move those guys, man. And no way in the world would I bring in Anthony Davis, man, to this team. He stayed hurt. He played one game last year and got hurt. Then he got hurt this year for Dallas. That's why Cooper Flag, and then they have Cooper Flag playing the point guard. See, in my opinion, the NBA is going back to the way it used to be, where you had a guard, a true point guard who just set the table. He kept, he was like the extension of the coach instead of some guy like LaMelo Ball who just want to get out there and freelance. Like Ja Morant just want to get out there and freelance and make highlight plays. That's not it. I think the only one, and I know that this kid, Trae Young, like to shoot, but he has shown at Atlanta that he can give out assists. And I think that, man, I would love to see Trae Young playing beside Anthony Edwards. I would love to see him playing with Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, and he can get up and down the court. He gonna run. When the opportunity presents itself, he gonna run. And man, I would love to see him get to the Hawks. And the pieces that they just named, like as far as being trade pieces, those guys are really good. Naz Reid, right? Naz Reid is a really important, role player for them. Like if I don't have to move off of Naz Reid, I definitely wouldn't do it.
Some names on this team that I would want. Obviously, the big ones are Julius Randle, who's been consistent. I think he's played every single game this year, and
can't do that.
But that's not going to be the problem. That's not going to be the move. I don't know who's going to bite on Rudy Gobert the way the league's going now with shooting and spacing, and so I think the two most attractive pieces they got outside of Anthony Edwards are McDaniels and Naz Reid. And Naz Reid had a great year last year, got paid. Now he's on.
All right, so McDaniels, right? Yeah, so you could get rid of McDaniels. I mean, if you got to get a point guard, then. But see, Naz Reid adds toughness to your team. Then also Naz Reid is he can and be a clutch scorer. He can hit that long. Man, that'll be tough. I think Naz Reid is a piece that they can move. Nobody's, like you said, nobody's going to want the big boy, which I think he is a serviceable big man. I keep forgetting Rudy Gobert, but. Bring in Trae Young. In my opinion, Trae Young is that right now is for what they want to do. It got to be Trae Young. If you bring in these other two guys, man, and all they want to do is shoot and score, like they will really have to adjust their game. I have not seen these other two guys. Not seen Ja Morant, play the pure point guard where he just doling out assists. Haven't seen him do that. LaMelo Ball, haven't seen him be like a pure point guard where he just setting the table for people. Too many turnovers. He's just too wild. Too many turnovers. Too many, like, his shot selection to me is just crazy. But I would love to see this kid Trae Young go there and play beside Anthony Edwards, man. So that's my take on it. Y'all make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.